Hey everybody, this is Alnash from the Unapologetic Woman Empowerment Dynasty, and you're listening to the Unapologetic Woman podcast, the show for women who choose to live their legacies unleashed, unlimited, and unapologetic. If this is a space you're curious about, visit unapologetic-woman.com. Today we're talking about sovereign womanhood in a changing consciousness with Monique McDonald. Now, before you appear on a podcast, give your next presentation, or have a sales conversation, you just might want to talk to Monique. Monique is an award-winning, Grammy-nominated opera singer and certified conscious transformational coach. As an international singer, speaker, and MC, Monique has a knack for making meaningful connections with audiences and helps others do the same with her unique coaching style. Known as the Magnetic Voice Mentor, Monique inspires healers and entrepreneurs to strengthen and elevate their stage presence, confidence, and mastery of expression through the human voice. What if your next professional conversation could take your business and yourself to unprecedented levels? Are you ready to unleash your magnetic voice? This conversation is being published as a bonus because, quite frankly, it's too important not to release immediately. Thanks for joining us. This is such a rich conversation with the beautiful and incredible Monique. Because this is really important for women to know and to really listen to today. So I want to honor you, Monique, for actually choosing to go into retreats.
Yes.
And sorry for the listeners who only just joined us, but we hadn't actually started the podcast. However, I cannot emphasize enough how we as women are doing ourselves a disservice at this time to continue the insanity of the driven high achiever.
Oh, yes, Al.
I am experimenting and devising a new planner for us as women to honor our cycle in creativity and the fact of we require way more nurturance and retreat than what we have been led to believe in order for us to thrive.
Yes. Thank you for saying that, because one of the things that led me to go into retreat I did one retreat right after another. So it turned out to be about 8 days. And because I realized that I was in survival mode and pretty much in fight or flight response, and it had become comfortable because I was having no relief, and that cortisol was just, my morning coffee.
Yes.
And it finally occurred to me, no, I deserve to thrive. And so I went and found 2 places where I could just be. Someone else was running it and facilitating it. I didn't have to. I really could just be, contribute, but not be in charge. Turn inward and really retune myself to the inner voice, that my own divine energy again. And so now I've had this amazing retreat time, and I have allowed myself, my prayer partner, we speak every weekday, every morning, and she said, "So are you going to take a vacation from your from your retreat?" And I said, "No, I have to work. I have to work." And then I said, guess what? You get to have processing time after the retreat. You don't have to jump right back in, which is what I would normally do because I've already taken, right, almost 10 days, including travel and everything. And so I went to my auntie's house and she's away. So I have the house all to myself, and she has a beautiful swimming pool in the backyard. And I just been having floaty time and becoming the water baby. And all that I am doing is talking to my friends on their podcast.
That's why wouldn't we?
Right. Because it's communion. And
Yeah.
I feel that is literally what I needed. There's a when you get into that stillness and you allow everything to stop and you stop doing and you just start to be, there is a communion between you and the entire universe, and you get to really know that the universe is me and I am the universe. And so all of a sudden, the sky, the trees, the grass, the everything just feels like an extension of you. And that is thrive, not survival mode.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. This can go into so many directions, Monique. It took me a long time to understand that high achievement, even though it's fun, I'm not taking away from my journey. Man, I was so adrenaline pumped. I was
Yes.
going like an Energizer bunny for 20 hours a day at one stage. I had
Mm,
so much on my plate. People called me Wonder Woman. And it felt good, right? Because everybody's like,
right.
oh my God, you're a machine. You're incredible. You're so inspirational. And they
Yes.
feed that ego with good intentions because we really do admire the person who outworks, outsmarts, outclimbs, the biggest hero in the room.
Yes, and there is an energy level, right, that we find very attractive to
Yes.
see that all cylinders go, right?
And we
When
think
you're
it's the prize. We think
right.
that's the prize. We think that is where we are aiming to be. And it took me having to leave countries, having to
Mm,
leave my identity as an Ironman, having to leave my identity as a married woman, having to leave my identity as successful and be brought down to my bottom for me to go, well, if I really release that way of doing, and I used to be so proud of saying, I'm a human doing, not a human being. I used to be proud of
nice.
that. If I took away all my doings, then who on earth am I? And how does life actually work?
And
And
am I valuable?
do I have value without the doing? Like my friend and I were delving into this yesterday, and I'm reframing business. I am committed to creating a new paradigm of business where we get out of this insanity of pedestals, because it's
Mm,
really creating so much division even between us as women. You know, you go onto stage and you share your gifts, and all of a sudden nobody wants to talk to you during lunch break because, oh my God, she's so amazing. Did you hear how profound that was? I have this pedestal thing. Oh, can I work with you? Because Guru, teach me.
right.
And I'm going, no, 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 no. We are all equal and different. Because my friend kept asking, but why do they pay you, Al, if you are not telling people they need to work with you? Because I don't. If you want to work with me, work with me, ask me. I don't say, you need to work with me because I will change your mind. I will change your life. I don't believe in any of that anymore. I don't buy into that propaganda anymore. And I work with people who come into my relationship as an equal. Like we are partnering in the calibration to greatness.
Yes, yes. And what I love about what you're saying, Ellen, when I was doing my floaty time in the pool, I was thinking about that because I was thinking, I'm supposed to be doing a webinar and I'm supposed to be doing marketing and I'm supposed, all the supposed tos. And I was like, nope, I'm doing floaty time in the swimming pool. But what I realize is that most of us are coming from the point of view of that we're broken
Mm-hmm.
and that we need to do things in order to not to fix ourselves, to be
Become
successful, whatever
holy.
that means.
Yes.
Exactly. And so as business people, especially those of us who are in service and always looking for new clients, there is that whole train of thought in marketing about you're broken, let me fix you. And I am so right there with you. I do not want to subscribe to that anymore. I'm the magnetic voice person. And I've always said this, I am not giving you anything when you work with me. I am uncovering what is already there. I'm helping you unleash what someone in the past may have said, be seen and not heard. And so we stifled that because that's what was safe to do in the presence of others. And now we've gotten into the habit of doing that. And so I am so on the same page with you. I'm about empowering voices. And I don't want to be anybody's guru.
No.
I believe the divine voice within each one of us is what is there to be tapped into and uncovered and listened to. And I don't want to do business in the old way. The old way for me seems to be very more like leading children, like the old like religion where you sort of have to spoon feed it, and so people don't really think for themselves, as opposed to speaking to the empowerment and the enlightenment that we all carry, the divine within, which is they call it new thought. It is a new thought. However, I think it's really an ancient one.
Well, and when I tapped into the archetypal work, there's four main fear archetypes that are prevalent in society today. The prostitute, the I don't have any value in and of myself, can't afford people to not like me. No
Right.
like and trust factor, right? There's the child archetype, and the child archetype is the one who doesn't want to take responsibility. Just tell me what to do. Just give me the blueprints. Or I just want to have adventures. I just want to have fun. There's the victim archetype, which we see in the everybody needs to have a hero story, because if there are no victims, then there are no heroes. And then there's the saboteur, and the saboteur is the one that says we don't know enough, we must prove our worth, we must work really hard, we must always chase the next thing that will give us a piece of paper to validate us. And it is resulting in people wanting to be saved, wanting to have a guru, wanting to be told that there's something wrong with them. And if there's enough of us saying it, then I'm okay, because it means we're all broken. We're all broken.
Yeah,
So
and it's not me.
it's not
It's
me.
because I'm broken.
Yes, yes. Whereas when
Right?
we tap into the divine love archetypes of the sacred lover who honors her value and her worth inherently through the choice of life, the sovereign queen and king who takes full responsibility for the I am that I am, the humble warrior who brings discipline and focus and creates honor within her container again. And of course, the magician, the artist, the one that plays with the universal forces and just goes, of course I know what I know, because I can tap into my divine at any given moment, and everything that I need to know right here, right now is flooded through me and to me in abundance. And that's how I create joyfully and deliciously and juicily.
Juicily! Yes! I love it! Yes, and the one that I feel as women, I feel that we have a lot of difficulty with is that sovereignty. I think the other ones, at least from how I'm seeing women show up these days, the warrior, you know, we had to develop that one to be in a man's world, so we're comfortable with that. The lover, right? That we're comfortable with that. The creator, we're getting more comfortable with it. It's, you know, that's coming. But the sovereignty, this innate power that doesn't need to be demonstrated. It just is. That is where I am working.
Yeah, because it's not the put on your crown queen that we see everywhere. It is not that.
Not that. It's not that.
The
And that's what we
sovereign
have.
doesn't need a crown. The true sovereign can
Exactly.
wear a bag for a drink,
yes.
and you would still feel her presence, her honor, her righteousness within herself and her beliefs.
Absolutely. I think something has become perverted in this realm, because what we have seen in the world expressed as power is really control. So we don't know what it feels like or looks like to just be empowered and not have to demonstrate it or show it, or and when I'm helping people women specifically voice their value, I call it voice your value and vibrate the world, right? It's being able to tap into that divine power that doesn't need to be demonstrated. It just flows through us. It flows through everything we say. It flows through our bodies. It flows through our eyes. I was doing a talk the other day, and this woman, and she was coming from a beautiful place in her heart. I know she was. She wanted to correct me because my talk was about the law of vibration. And I was saying that the law of vibration is the second universal law. And she corrected me and she said, no, the law of vibration is the first universal law. And here is what I mean. I know that, of course, the first universal law is the law of oneness. But I didn't need to say that. Like, I didn't need to say, no, you're wrong, I'm right, look it up, you know? I just said, thank you for your feedback. It was very helpful. And she said, I don't want you to think that I was trying to correct you, and, you know, because I think she was expecting a fight. But because this is where I'm coming from, I really did see that that was her lovingly wanting to be sure that I had all the facts right, because she loved me and she wanted me to show up well.
Yes.
Is what I choose to believe.
And how often does that actually take us out of the true understanding? Because here's the thing, universal laws are all equal. Who cares if it's the first law or the second law or the third law? Universal law is universal law. There is no hierarchy within the laws. And so when we are in this mode of, no, we have to get it right, like good little schoolgirls, because this is the way that the teacher taught it, and we dare not mess up what the teacher said. We
And
are
it's
not
so funny that you said that,
vibrating on
Elle.
the universal law. We are not vibrating on divine love, who kind of like goes, who gives a shit? Like, I am just sharing a piece, a nugget to be received. It
That's
doesn't
right.
have to be said like a parrot the way that somebody else said it. You're taking yourself out of the game. You're still in fear. You're still not in love.
Yes, and the fear of not getting it right. And I think that's something that has been so ingrained in us. Getting it right, being right. It really feels like life or death for some people.
Yes, yes. Greatest gift I received was working with a really young lady a few years ago. And every time she would come onto a call with me, she would go, I went out to prove myself wrong this week. And I thought, how refreshing. What would happen in my life if I went out to prove myself wrong? And it's a philosophy of life that I have adopted, which scares and freaks out most people who are in my realm, because I am so unattached these days to being right. So unattached. My thought process always is, well, what if I'm wrong? Like, what if I am wrong? What else is then possible? Which is why
Yeah,
I no longer call myself a thought leader. Everybody wants to tell me I'm a thought leader. No, I'm not. I'm a thought explorer. I don't need to
I love
lead
that.
anybody anywhere because I am having such a magnificent human experience. I just want to explore as many thoughts that is available to me in this lifetime as possible without ever becoming so attached to one thought that that becomes my destiny.
Yeah, I love that. I've been looking at that a lot and really just noticing the thoughts that make me feel expansive inside and the thoughts that really make me contract, like my tummy goes into knots. And and instead of saying, no, that's wrong, let me quick find a good thought to make me, no, to just notice.
Yeah.
I don't have to fix it. I don't have to engage in it at all. Just to notice and love and accept and bless it. And what I'm finding is that because I'm not engaging in it, it's a natural thing that it's just not as interesting anymore.
Yes.
And I naturally start noticing more expansive thoughts. And this because I'm not calling the contracting thoughts wrong. They're just, I'm
Thoughts.
just noticing, and they're just thoughts. And someday the contracting thoughts maybe thoughts that make me feel expansive, and I'm leaving room for that, right? And so I love that. A thought explorer. Yes, I'm on board with that.
Wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we just explore thoughts and be a little loosey goosey in life? Because God, we've become so anal and like, oh, um, when we become curious again and childlike and have a sense of humor about ourselves, life, wisdom starts coming through us. Not knowledge and not information, wisdom, because it's that childlike curiosity and willingness to play, willingness to experiment, willingness to fall on our bottoms and laugh at ourselves. Yes, sometimes the bottom stinks and we throw a tantrum. We can learn so much from kids. We really need to grow down. Then all of a sudden life is not so serious anymore, and it brings us more playfulness into our lives. I look at the people that I'm surrounded with at the moment, and honestly, Monique, I wake up in the mornings and I'm like, holy smokes. How did I get to be so lucky? Like, I get introduced to women like you, and I get off the call and I phone my best friend, Amy, and I'm like, Amy, you have to meet Monique. Oh my God, you can't believe this woman that I've just met, right? I'm so excited about the people that I am surrounded with at this time. And I feel like the universe has taken a blanket of fluff and
Mm.
just go, here you go, Al. Like, you've had done enough struggle, girlfriend. Like, you've done enough of the good girl. You've played the human game long enough, the fear human game. You've played it long enough. Like, you get to choose now to have fun. You get to choose now to just release the people in love who you don't want to play with anymore. The ones that make you feel like the sky is falling on our heads and we have to somehow go into space to find a new sky. The ones that make you feel like you are broken, that you are not whole, that there is something wrong with you. Like, I've noticed a trend at the moment that so many of us pioneers in consciousness, our businesses stopped working. And I've just been going, I'm going to sit in this. I'm going to sit in this and I'm going to really be curious and I'm going to get the answer. And I was chatting to a friend and she's like, what am I doing wrong? This is a celebrated businesswoman with so many business awards who has done multi-millions in companies before. And she's going through a dark time.
Yes.
And I was thinking about this and I was like sitting with my soul and going, want to know what is really going on. And the answer dropped in yesterday. And it's like, you're not doing anything wrong. You are not calibrated to the old way anymore, but you have not completed your calibration in the new way.
Exactly it. Oh my goodness. I love this. It's such synchronicity because I am swimming in a pond of entrepreneurs and business owners, and I'm hearing this like this. I'm doing everything that I used to do and it's just not working anymore. And it's not working anymore because of exactly that. We are wanting to go, it's like we are trying to cling to the old skin, and it's time to shed the old skin and embrace the new. And so we're most of us in that trapeze moment, right, where we've let go of one and haven't quite grasped the other one yet.
I'm going to say that I don't think it's most of us. I think it's very few of us. I think we think it's most because those are the people that we surround ourselves with. And so then the
Oh,
trap becomes that we're looking at the most and it's still working for them. And then we think, well, if it's working for them, then I am doing something wrong. Let me do more. Because there's very few of us who are pioneering in consciousness. I would say maybe 10% of humanity at this time. And this is not being a snob. This is like, I'm honoring everybody's journey and where they are. However, I have come to the understanding that we think it's everybody because we surround ourselves with like vibrational people.
thank you for that. Thank you for calling my attention to that, because I realized these last few weeks that I've spent in retreat, I was in the presence of master healers. Like because
You are one.
I am one is what I'm realizing. And I always did know that, but had forgotten in my pursuit of being, I'm a creative, I'm a Grammy nominated award-winning opera singer, and I've sung all over the world, and that, I'm a creator. That's what an artist, that's always been my way of being. And then I decided that I wanted to go into business, and all of a sudden I was like, wait, who am I? and, and I kept trying, I had to get a business mentor and I had to start thinking like a businesswoman. And all of a sudden I really got lost. trying to fit myself into these, exactly what you're describing, these tactics and strategies that seem to be working for everyone else. And then this year, I just was like, boom, 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 knocking my head against the wall, trying to fit my square peg into this roundness. Actually, I'm probably the round one. I don't know. But
I'm round. That's
and
one of those star-shaped things.
and I'm realizing how, when it's working now, I'm in flow and I just connect. And all of a sudden, people, I was on the phone with this woman for probably about 10 minutes before I realized she wanted to work with me. And I said, oh, yes, of course. Because I was so enjoying the connection, right?
Yes, yes. Because when we work with our peers, we are equal and different. The difference is the gift that we bring to our clients. The difference is what they pay us for, because they don't necessarily have our genius gifts, but they get to calibrate to theirs in our presence.
Yes.
But we are equal. But we are equal. We are equal. I wish I could get this into people's heads. We are all equal. There's no need for pedestals in this world, because you know what? We all have to go take a dump every day. We all have to breathe. We all eat. We all cry. We all laugh. We all have heartache, and we all have joy. We are all equal. And if we could get past the how much money do you have in your bank account, what is your title, what is your education level, what is your this, what is your that, so that we in our minds can put them at the level of engagement and just go, Monique, darling, I want to calibrate in the presence of your genius gift to my genius gift.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And it's so funny. I just started my first ever mastermind last month. And actually, it was after our conversation. Oh, and I have to thank you for this. Oh, yay. I'm so grateful that I get to tell you how grateful I am for you, because it was after I work with both men and women on their voices, empowering their voices. And it was after our conversation, I got the download that this mastermind is to be for women. So and here's the thing. I decided that I wanted to launch my first mastermind because I needed one. So speaking of being equal, right? Of being on the same, I wanted to surround myself with amazing women who have this big message for the world and are ready to step into that. And so it's a true mastermind. A lot of times people talk about masterminds and it's really group coaching.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. No, I literally wanted these, and what is so interesting about this, and I'm so grateful, is because we are coming together around the voice and getting our message out into the world effortlessly, right? They are from all different walks of life. There's a tech person, there's a healer, there's someone who wants to create a community for caregivers, and it's just, they're all different. I'm getting chills talking about it. And I realized I'm creating a container, and Elle, I know you do this as well. Whereas, to use your words, that we can calibrate our energies and have a container where we can play big and not be judged for it, not be criticized for it, to just be it in each other's presence.
Amen to that. Amen to that, sister. And yes, we get to create for ourselves. It's why I created the soiree. I was like, I don't want to go to networking events anymore. I'm bored. And I'm bored with only talking about business. I'm a woman. I want to talk about all the woman things: food,
Yeah.
fashion, sex, insanity, hormones, all the things.
All the things.
All the things I created. And then I invite people to play with me, right? I think that there's something in that where we have also been conditioned that we must serve, we must give, we must create for everybody else, instead of going, well, what if this is my life and my business gets to be the vehicle for me to create the things that I really want, and then invite other people to come and have fun with me?
That was a whole new thing. And the next thing I knew, I had 6 women like that. I didn't send out anything. I just was sharing, I'm creating this. Want to come play? And yeah, and so that's what I continue to do, because I'm transformed, and I'm watching transformations happen. And I believe we all are creators. As an artist, I know that that has been my pursuit. But what I also know is that everyone is an artist, no matter what their métier. We are all creators. And sometimes that's been beaten out of us.
Well, has it been beaten out of us? Or have we just pulled a cloak of safety over ourselves to stop the beating? Because it can't be beaten out of us. I mean, our innate creative natures, we can hide it. No, can we even? Because here's the thing. Even if we are not intentionally creating, we're still reactively creating.
That's true.
Like
Reactively.
we are creators. Nothing can change that. But what we do have the opportunity at the moment is to stop reactively creating, which is coming from that fear space, that survival space, that, oh my God, I have to do more space, and pause, retreat, nurture,
Breathe. Yeah.
breathe. And then when our cups are overflowing, when our really not mouth cups overflowing, when our cups are truly overflowing, and I think that we as women underestimate how much nurturance is required for us to be in overflow,
I
then
agree.
we intentionally create.
Yes, I like many women I know got stuck in give mode. Got my give button got stuck. And I stopped really taking care of myself and nurturing myself. And I think a lot of us look outward when that happens. Let me find a man to nurture me. Let me find all my friends to nurture me. Maybe even my business can feed that. And eventually we have to come to terms with the fact that the only one that can fill our cup is us and the divine within.
And then life gives us other people who add to it.
Yes.
Because then we attract people who know how to nurture themselves. And so they don't come to take from us, they come to be with us. And we no
Yes.
longer feed off each other.
Yes, that because when we're in the presence of someone who is nurturing themselves, we get permission to do it. And we're reminded. And that's why I think, I'm an only child. I have no kids. I'm not married, and my parents have all passed away. And I was really grooving on this story of I'm all alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me. I have to figure this out by myself. And I'm finally on to that. that I'm stepping out of that story. That is not me, because that leaves a trail of isolation and being unable to receive.
Yeah.
When you have to do it yourself. And I finally am onto that. And no, it's literally impossible to be alone. We are all interconnected. Not only humans, but nature. We are nature. And all you have to do is take a good long walk and take a few deep breaths, and you realize, oh my God, look at the trees. Look at, I don't know, is that just me?
Oh, I hug them. I am a tree hugger. For reals. Freaking love hugging trees.
And just acknowledging that I am that.
Yes.
I think a lot of times with all the technology and all of the, and I'm not going to trash technology.
No, thank God for technology. That's how we
Exactly, we wouldn't be here right now. So I know that a lot of people are doing that, and oh my God, what's the world coming to, and chat, and blah, blah, blah. But I think when we are spending so much time on our devices, we forget that we are part of nature, that we are nature itself. And I think that, that's one of the things that I'm really, really committed to after my retreats, is to just experience myself as the entire universe. You know that Rumi quote, we are not a drop in the ocean. We are the ocean in a drop. One of my all-time favorite quotes. And to really understand and experience myself that way. Because and that again is coming back to that sovereignty that we were discussing earlier, that inner feeling of every cell in my body is made up of the universe. What? What if we got, 37 trillion gazillion cells? And when you can wrap your mind around, and the things that I'm worrying about, those first world problems, when we really understand and experience ourselves that way as nature, as part of it all, something just flips.
And if the cosmos is too much for our listeners, then the owl wisdom is we are all future worm poop. You can't get much more natural than that. Like, you are so part of nature that we are all future worm poop. We're all going to go through worms one day and come out their backsides. Like, we are that part of nature. Being conscious of the time, and I've not even asked the question that I start every show with, Monique. What does it mean to you to be an unapologetic woman?
It means living out loud, dancing as if no one's looking. It means daring to be uncomfortable. It means continuing to create and knowing that I am a creator. It means not needing to be right, but rather needing to connect. The need to connect is more interesting than the need to be right. It means I never have to apologize again because I just am myself. And if being myself causes pain to be able to say, I'm sorry, without giving up my power.
Wow. That opens a whole new conversation.
We, my darling, could speak for
Oh
eons.
my gosh. We need we need a pot of coffee, a bottle of wine, and a bonfire and an entire weekend so that we can just sit and have beautiful people just bring us beautiful food to nourish us while we have these conversations that's literally changing consciousness. And I think that is something that women are underestimating as well, is when we come together with the intention of having real conversations, we are changing consciousness. How could there be anything more valuable, anything more powerful than allowing ourselves to have these conversations? But with that also comes that incredible responsibility of, am I speaking more fear into consciousness? Or am I speaking love into consciousness? And it's sneaky, right? It's sneaky because a lot of the times we think that we are speaking love. I was listening to a podcast the other day that somebody sent to me. There's a reason I don't necessarily listen to podcasts, because I pick up on the vibration, and it was intriguing to me that she was talking about the power of language and vibration, which is something that I'm really passionate about.
As am
And
I.
from about 15 minutes in, I just felt my entire being contract with the stuff that she was talking about with such authority and conviction, but it was all fear-based. So here is a spiritual leader, self-proclaimed spiritual leader, talking about the power of words and fear consciousness and sowing the seeds of fear and then watering it with her can as well. That is not love consciousness. I'm just going to say
No,
that.
and I always wonder, right? Because this is my area of expertise. I always wonder, and it is my nature to sort of give people the benefit of the doubt. Is it conscious? Probably not. Are people aware that if they are speaking and using their most powerful tool that we've been given, which is our voice, and it is not aligned to love, we can be speaking about the most beautiful things and people will be turned off. They will shut down and they won't know why. And when you become conscious of how important it is to align your mind, your voice, and your heart and your body so that you are speaking consciously from all of those places being in alignment, how they can't help you, you're just so compelling, and we know that truth has been spoken.
Yes.
So I just wonder, I always just sort of wonder, because I agree. And I think like you, I have such a visceral reaction to that in my body because they're leaders and people, because they're in a position of authority, people are listening and following. And
Women have to be in a position of leadership. My partner always teases me. He says, "You're such a child," because grown-ups know when something is not real, when something is a movie. Because I'm highly sensitive, I choose to be highly sensitive to what I am taking in, and honoring that if my body goes, "Oh, that doesn't feel good," then I go, "No, no, no, I don't want to see that." Even if it's a movie, I don't care. But here's the thing, It is because we are desensitizing ourselves through watching movies or what we are reading or the games that we are playing or the books that we are reading on a consistent and a continuous basis that and I was guilty of this. I was so numb
Yes.
that you could put a bomb up my bum and I probably wouldn't have felt it. It took a lot of conscious choice for me to become really sensitive and now being teased about it all the time and being okay with it. And I'm not one of those people, oh, I can't go in there because no, that's not it. I go where I need to go, but then I get to honor and go, nope, this is not for me. And I honor myself in leaving. I honor myself in going, this is not the right space for me, not the right conversation for me to listen to. They have their role to play, but I get to choose. And I think women need to
Yes.
give themselves permission to leave the room.
That's again, that sovereignty, trusting their bodies to tell your body says whatever your body says, Al, and you follow it. And I think that is a choice. And I also think that most of us are, especially today, are living in our heads. We don't even refer to the body to find out. That's part of my work as well. And I'm just going to say this, that for me, one of the saddest things to see is that children are having that problem now because of the way they're being educated through the computers and the living in this computer
Virtual
game
world.
is more interesting and exciting. And and when you see, I don't know if anybody's paying attention to this, but when somebody's on their phone doing whatever they're doing, they look like a blank robot. There's nobody home. There's no feeling. There's nothing. And so for me right now, I'm going for the kids. I've got to go and get them and engage them again and have them talk, have
Have
them
them
speak,
sing, have them
have
sing,
them
have
sing.
them dance, have them feel their bodies, have them feel what it feels like when I move my body in joy or in rage or in sadness or whatever it is,
Yes.
using the power of the voice, using the power of song, using the power of music, and allowing
Yes.
themselves to vibrate with the life that they truly are instead of being so desensitized that they look at something horrific on the screen and they go, oh, that's funny. It's not okay. And I feel like we as women and sisters, I'm speaking to all of us, myself included, whether you've
Yes, all
had
of us.
children or not, it's time for the mother archetype to come back into us. It's time for us to start taking sovereign responsibility for raising the tribe, not just our own
Yes.
children, but the entire village. The village's
Yes.
children needs us. And so
Chills all
time
over
for
my
us
body.
to stand up, speak up, and come together, because we in and of ourselves are powerful, but when we as women come together, we are unstoppable, and we know
Yes.
we know.
Yes.
Darling, I'm going to have to wrap up this conversation. To be continued.
To be continued. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Elle. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for this container. Thank you for holding space for the power of women and connection and doing business in a whole new way and true connection. I bless you. I bless your voice. I bless you, my sister.
Oh, and I received that from you, my jungle queen. Oh, to our listeners, my goodness. I hope that you had as much fun as what we did today. I'm going to go and listen to this recording a couple of times because I just think that there was so much that came through in this conversation. And if you are listening, if you're still listening after an hour, what is your greatest takeaway? Let us know in the comments, and let's start having a conversation on that, because this is a conversation starter, not a conversation completion. So let's start the next conversation. And until next time, remember, we get to live our legacies unleashed, unlimited, and bloody unapologetic. Have an amazing day further. Cheers. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow me on Instagram at The Unapologetic Woman and on LinkedIn at Al-Naj. And if you're interested in experiencing the Unapologetic Woman Friendwork Soiree, book in for our next open meeting at unapologetic-women.as.me/unapologetic. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.